Let's go ahead now, and as I mentioned, so we've got our activities set, they're assigned, they're linked to this assessment. We know we have a student, one of our students who took it because we went in through the data reports to verify that. And now I'm the student going in to access this. Teach the students, use Chrome when possible, or bookmark when possible. Teach them these same tech tips, because sometimes we just don't think of setting the path, defining the pathway to these things, to these resources. And then that could be all the difference between I feel successful, I can focus cognitively on persevering and having meaningful interaction with this content, with these PRA activities, versus I'm frustrated, I'm confused, it's not clear, I couldn't find it, I don't know how to get there. And we felt that as adults. So that's why I say share, pay it forward whenever you hear tech tips like that. So I've made it this far. I may need to Google TUSD School City student and find this and bookmark it for the first time when I'm first oriented to getting to this path as a student. I will need to know my student login ID. This does not exist in Clever by default. So it's online, it's at this website, and thus students will be logging in with their matric number as their username and their username as it was defined when school closure happened. If they don't remember that password, I shouldn't say username, their password is whatever it was when we closed the schools. But if they don't remember the password for any reason, your options are get in touch with someone, site administrator might be a starting point, but someone who still is operating in the network, who might be able to and knows how to reset that student password for you. Or call the TS help desk, 225-6333, and ask for their assistance with that. Thanks for posting that up there, Michelle. Once they're in, so those are key things that they'll need to know to even start to find your PRAs. Once they are logged in to their accounts, they'll land in a page that looks similar to the staff one. It's also called the Launchpad. It's just slightly different in the way it's oriented. And students may or may not have this flip card. Remember I said these can be customized of what's viewing. If they do, they can click here, review scores, flip the card, and click on their assessment that you've linked the PRAs to get to a screen where they'll find that blue gearhead, that universal PRA icon. The other way that every student should be able to access it is along the top here, this ribbon, where they can click on scores, locate the assessment. So again, they'll need to know the assessment. You'll need to communicate and say, I've assigned these PRAs based on this assessment. And they will click on view results. This will take them to the details of their results for this assessment. This is a great place to become data informed, data literate, data empowered. It would take a lot of data talks and supports from our staff to do this, but this might be a nice screen to Zoom, share. This kind of screen and this level of reporting is available for any quarterly benchmark that our students have taken. So this might be a nice place, a nice data talk activity you can set up with the student that you serve as well.
I have a question.
Yes, please.
I'm sorry to interrupt you here. Some of my students, they can't see their score. When we were trying to log in and find out what are the standards they need to work on, when they click on the score, it just shows blank.
Yeah.
Near about half of the class.
And that happens in Internet Explorer. and so that's been, and hence no one who's been issued a laptop, knock on wood, should have like Internet Explorer as their default browser setting. So that should clear up. The only other time when that's the case, and it wouldn't be the case in what you described, really what you described, most likely culprit was the browser was not compatible with this operation.
This has happened in the classroom.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Yep. And because in the classroom at the schools, those computers were still being re-imaged over the course of this school year, even through the third quarter. where a lot of those machines were still operating within a outdated, honestly, browser environment. And that was what we identified as the most likely factor that contributed to those reports that we received that were identical to what you just described. This should not be the case when they're going in from home, especially they're going in through Chrome. If you encounter things, or your students do, again, schoolcityhelp@qsd1.org, my email, Michelle's email, we can support and assist you with that, and assist our students for sure, and their families with that likewise.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Here's that blue gearhead icon right over here for this assessment. So here's that assessment that I made these for as a staff. Now I'm the student. Here's my activities that the staff, that my teacher made for me. And right away, they see the name. If I had changed the name, it would have been the changed name. The points, the stars that I get to earn will go over here, and they'll fly around the screen. And then the instructions will pop up that I can always see again in this little iCloud here. As a student, I'll probably have fun clicking on these little monster icons and changing that up. And then even if I may not be able to fully access this text, remember this portion, this environment does not have those accommodation tools. It does not have text-to-speech. At the very least, this might be a teaching tip for, depending on that case, on that student that you're serving, that's just click where it says okay. Most kids find their way there anyways. The moment I clicked okay, I'm on the first activity that's required. It's got the standard up here. Here's the first part. And this timer that was preset to 10 seconds already finished. I never had to click and play the video. This is a potential pitfall you want to be aware of. You need to know, well, if the student was only there for a little bit, and this is where monitoring the time spent on these activities may give you some insight, but certainly talking with them about it will be helpful. But let's say, okay, no, I didn't know this started jiggling and turning colors and shaking. And now, as a student tells me, how helpful was this? And it's got some icons, pictures to help me. I like that activity. Yay, there's my points. They flew around, it did some fun little sound effects, and now I'm on to the next activity. I type, I can link things in here, I can upload content in here, but again, I can type gibberish. And now when I submit response, it's saying to me, great work, because that's my default feedback to anybody. Again, this is a teaching point. This is something to confer with our students. We have to build that agency, make sure that they're giving their best to do that. We might want to be mindful of what activity parts we're assigning here too. So I've completed this, finish activity, and perfect. I've got all the stars. I did everything. Confetti falls. We're celebrating. My little guy here, I can still flip him around. He's going to dance and wave at me. Okay. And he moves over to activity 2. This timer starts right away. I might not even notice this. I might be looking around as a student like, where do I click? What's going on? Because this activity was set up to open in a new window. Well, this shows up and I can skip it and just finish it. I'm going to click here first to show you, because this is where I did that custom linking. It took me straight to a Word document in Office 365. In the staff's office, in my Office 365 account. You can do things like have them journal in Word, throw more links in there, prompts, instructions, questions. You can have them do something more technical in Excel if they're up to speed with that, or do something very simplistic like add their vote for how helpful this PRA was. You can show them your own custom slideshows. You can point them to where they go to your own OneNote, your class OneNote with resources similar to the TAR, but for students. Or you can quiz them. You can survey them. You can follow up and collect other data in this other application here. Plenty of ways to interact with them, to help them with that. Once they hit finished, give their feedback, they're all the way done. They've got the points, and back on your end, you've got the information here. I'm going to just refresh real quick. And you'll see that the class monitoring has now populated some information. The students spent time. If this said like 20 seconds, then I know that I should have a follow-up talk. It's not fully informative. It's not all the details, but it's at least giving me some way of monitoring, letting me know down here in this showing students results a little bit more detail for me. And that's the student experience. Questions?
No questions in chat. I just want to make sure everybody knows there's a couple of you who still haven't done the attendance yet on the forms. If you copy and paste the link that I just posted on the chat, copy and paste that into your browser, and then you can go in and answer just a few simple questions to get credit in True North Logic for this.
Thanks, Michelle. And I'll finish up by saying, remember, on the TAR, the first place I took you online, which we went through TUSD1.org staff quick links, there's a School City Help section with links to PRA content, including a shorter demo video and some quick tips for you and our students. I made reference to an HL formative pre-made assessment. Here's a little quick guide linked in here that tells you more information about those resources. And there's a section in here on TUSD School City that has PowerPoints that include how to set up student groups and how to create your own assessments, how to access data. That gives you a little more details on accessing your assessment data than what I showed you here. Thank you all so much for joining us. Best wishes, best luck, continued good health, good spirits to you and your loved ones, especially as you go on in service to our younger learners with exceptional needs. We're cheering you on. Thank you very much.